Imagine you are floating in space, not near Earth, not near the moon, not even near the edge of our solar system. You are somewhere so far from anything that the word far stops having meaning. There are no stars around you, no planets, no dust, no light. You look in every direction and see nothing. Absolute, perfect, suffocating nothing. And then you realize something that makes your body go cold. This emptiness shouldn't exist. According to everything we understand about the universe, this place is physically impossible. And yet, here it is. And it is so much bigger than you can imagine. This is the cosmic void. And once you understand what it truly is, you will never look at the night sky the same way again. From Earth, the universe looks full. You step outside on a clear night, tilt your head back, and the sky is scattered with light. Thousands of stars dusted across the darkness. Like someone threw salt across black velvet. It feels crowded. It feels alive. Even in the deepest parts of space that we can photograph, the Hubble Deep Field images show galaxies everywhere. Thousands of them packed into a patch of sky smaller than a grain of sand, held at arm's length. The universe from where we stand feels like a place bursting with matter, with structure, with existence. But something is wrong. Because those images only show you where things are, they don't show you what lies between. And what lies between is something so strange, so hostile, so fundamentally broken in its silence, that scientists still don't have a complete explanation for why it exists the way it does. Galaxies don't float randomly through space. They cluster, they group together in massive structures, filaments, walls, superclusters, like a cosmic web stretching across the universe in every direction. Our Milky Way sits in one of these structures. Our nearest galactic neighbor, Andromeda, is about 2.5 million light years away. That sounds enormous. And it is. But compared to what comes next, it's nothing. Because between the great walls of this cosmic web, there are gaps, holes, regions of space so vast and so utterly empty that they challenge our understanding of how the universe was formed, right? These are called the Great Voids, and the largest one we found is so big that it broke physics, the Botha's Void, discovered in 1981. A sphere of nothingness, roughly 330 million light years across. Let that number sit in your mind for a moment. 330 million light years. If you traveled at the speed of light, the fastest anything in the universe can move, it would take you 330 million years just to cross it. Not to explore it, not to map it, just to cross it in a straight line. And inside this sphere, in all that space, there are almost no galaxies. There is almost nothing. Where there should be thousands of galaxies based on how the universe distributes matter, there are maybe 60. 60 dim, isolated galaxies scattered across a void the size of a god's exhale. But here's the problem. That shouldn't be possible. When the universe was born in the Big Bang, matter was distributed in a specific way. Hot, dense plasma expanding outward, cooling, forming the first atoms, the first stars, the first galaxies. The distribution of matter follows patterns we can model, predict, simulate. And when you run those simulations, when you calculate how long it takes for gravitational forces to pull matter together and leave empty regions behind, you get answers, you get timescales. And the timescale required to create a void as large as Botha's, to hollow out a sphere 330 million light years wide, is longer than the age of the universe itself. The universe is approximately 13.8 billion years old. The void shouldn't be there yet. It shouldn't have had time to form, and yet it did. And we don't fully understand how. But it gets worse. Because Botha's isn't alone. It isn't even the largest. The universe is riddled with these voids. KBC void, Eridanus super void, the vast cosmic web of emptiness that makes up roughly 80% of the total volume of the observable universe. Think about that. When you look at the universe in its entirety, most of it, the overwhelming majority of the space that exists, is void, is nothing. The galaxies, the stars, the planets, the matter, everything we can see and touch and measure is compressed into thin filaments and sheets and walls that surround these colossal holes of absence. We don't live in a universe full of stars. We live in a universe that is almost entirely empty, with tiny ribbons of matter clinging to the edges of an endless series of voids. And if you were somehow placed inside one of these voids, truly inside, far from the filaments, far from any galaxy, what would you experience? First, there would be no stars, none. Not a single light source in any direction. The darkness would be absolute in a way that darkness on Earth can never be. On Earth, there's always something. Moonlight, city glow, bioluminescence in the ocean. In the void, there is nothing. Your eyes would find no photons to catch. You would float in perfect sensory annihilation. But here's where it gets truly terrifying. It wouldn't be quiet, not in the physics sense. You would be bombarded by cosmic microwave background radiation, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang itself, the universe's oldest light, stretched and cooled to a temperature of 2.7 degrees above absolute zero. It fills all of space, and in the void, stripped of everything else, you would be marinating in it, the faint hiss of creation itself, the last whisper of the explosion that made everything. It would pass through you without harm, without sensation. You would feel nothing, but it would be there, ancient, indifferent, everywhere. And this is where things change. Because the void isn't just empty space, it's expanding. The universe is expanding and the voids are expanding faster than everything else. Dark energy, the mysterious force accelerating the expansion of space itself, is most powerful in the regions with the least matter. The voids are stretching, growing, hollowing out at a rate that exceeds what gravity in the surrounding filaments can counteract. The void is eating the universe from the inside. Slowly, cosmically, inevitably, galaxies on the edges of voids are being pulled away from each other, stretched toward the void's growing boundary, isolated by the ever-widening gulf of nothing. In billions of years, the great voids will be even larger. The cosmic web will grow thinner, the ribbons of matter will fray, and the universe will become more void than it already is. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is what the voids tell us about our future. Because the same dark energy driving the expansion of the voids is driving the expansion of the entire universe. Every galaxy outside our local group, outside the small cluster of galaxies bound together by gravity near the Milky Way, is moving away from us, and it's accelerating. In roughly 100 billion years, every galaxy beyond our local group will have moved so far away, will be receding so fast, that their light will never reach us again. The night sky will go dark. Not because the stars burned out, though they will, but because the universe itself will have stretched to the point where the light can no longer make the crossing. Future astronomers, if anything like astronomers still exists, will look up and see nothing. They will have no evidence that other galaxies ever existed. They will think they are alone, not because they are lying, because the universe will have hidden the truth behind an ever-expanding curtain of void. We exist at a cosmically lucky moment. We can still see, we can still measure, we can still find the echoes of the Big Bang in the structure of the voids and the filaments and the great web of existence. But that window is closing, slowly, by any human timescale, but closing. There is something that happens to you when you sit with this long enough. Not panic exactly, something quieter and more profound. The void between galaxies isn't just empty space, it's a mirror. It shows us what the universe defaults to, what it prefers, what it trends toward in the absence of the strange, improbable conditions that led to matter, to stars, to planets, to life. To you sitting here watching this video, the default state of the universe is not stars. It is not warmth. It is not light. The default state of the universe is the void. Absolute cold. Absolute dark. Absolute silence. Everything else, every galaxy, every sun, every ocean, every moment of consciousness that has ever existed is the exception, the anomaly, the brief and beautiful mistake. You are not the universe's intention. You are its accident. And the void has always been there, patient and vast, waiting on the other side of everything you have ever known, reminding you in its silence that the cosmos does not bend toward life. It never did. It simply, occasionally, tolerates it, and one day it will stop.